Me and Robin at that particular time, and my being a senior assistant chef, calls for a lot of things, and I had to work a lot, so our marriage was a little bit stressed. We just built a home 6 months. Well, we built a home in 1987 in June, and you know, I was definitely, every day I had off, I usually had a meeting or something to distract our time together.
There were times that I really wanted to leave. I didn't want it to work anymore because it wasn't working.
When I came home, just wasn't very much communication between me and Robin. We were having quite a tough time.
And I think we were definitely on the verge of, you know, the way that I was feeling, I was on the verge of definitely wanting to separate.
I ended up at the end of the day working about 13 hours, and then on the way home I stopped and had a couple of beers with a coworker. Well, I wasn't really drunk. I was impaired somewhat, but on the way home it made me tired and sleepy because we lived about 20 minutes away from Williamsburg. I fell asleep behind the wheel, went into the woods and ended up crushing my left elbow, putting a large gash in my head, and also incurring a spinal cord injury, C5 spinal cord injury. The first thing I remember after the accident was I woke up in the hospital and I saw all these machines around me, and then I saw Robin to the right of me over there, and I said, "Hey, honey," and didn't know what day it was, didn't know exactly how I ended up where I was at. And she looked at me and she said hello, but she started crying, so I figured, well, something's done screwed up. I done screwed up something. About 3 or 4 minutes after that, a doctor came in. His name was Dr. Penix. Came in and introduced himself to me and told me that I was in an automobile accident and I'd incurred a spinal cord injury and I'd never walk again for the rest of my life.
While I was pregnant, actually, Jeff and I did Lamaze classes at the rehab. And actually, I think being pregnant, I felt really good, and it almost like it brought us closer, even after the accident. You know, after the struggles that we had before that, it was like it was all gone. I mean, it was different. I think we all knew that, you know, we had a different fight on our hands.
Jeff Duncan is excited about sharing his testimony of how his life and marriage was transformed and redeemed. Come hear the full story of a man who was brought to desperation and a wife who never gave up on him.
God has a plan, and He's gonna make it happen. I think all we have to do sometimes is believe and trust and have our faith to be able to fall back on.
Jeff is passionate about bringing a message of his salvation and how Jesus Christ united him with his wife after understanding what love really meant.
And I could just see the difference in everybody. Everybody would pray for me and it would relax me. But what really made a difference was Myron and this guy Stephen kept talking to me about being saved and what it meant. And in February 1990, I changed my whole outlook and I accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior.
To contact Jeff and Robin Duncan, please email them at jeffduncan3@aol.com or call 540-633-0197.